Tina, Donald Trump has just left the courtroom. What do we know from here on? What is he likely to do?
Yes, he will eventually be returning to Florida, where he has a rally planned, and it will be speaking to his supporters in Florida at his Mar-a-Lago resort.
And all those people right behind you, I mean, a lot of media personnel there, but as you were pointing out earlier, a crowd of Trump supporters, a crowd of anti-Trump crowd gathered there. Has that dissipated, or they are still hanging around?
It's finally started to feel like it's dissipate a little bit here, and so things have calmed down a little bit. There's still a number of anti-Trump supporters who are getting started again, and so no idea yet as to how long they'll go for, but it's definitely a scene out here outside the courtroom, and it doesn't look as if it's going to die out completely. It just feels like a constant stream of people coming through.
Tina, take us through the details that you've picked up from what happened inside the courtroom just a short while back.
Yeah, based on the reports I'm reading, it seemed like a fairly straightforward process. The indictment was unsealed. He pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts. His defense lawyers had an opportunity to review the charges, and at this point, they are going to return to Florida, and they're going to prepare his defense.
And were his supporters who were outside the Manhattan court behind you, any of them, were they expecting him to make a statement or two? Because there was some amount of expectation that he might just say a few words.
Yeah, as it turns out, today was just so insane with the crowds that ended up gathering out here. Police were told to expect a crowd of nearly 2,000, and it's safe to say came very, very close to that number. So just the sheer amount of media outlets, media throngs, journalists, onlookers, people passing through, supporters, protesters, anybody and everybody was out here. It was a circus. Security was tight, and it made it incredibly hard to get around. So it finally is starting to die down a tiny little bit, but there's still a number of people gathered out here.
And Tina, when Donald Trump was entering the court today, we saw him waving to those outside, but as he left the court, we hardly were able to even see a glimpse of Donald Trump. The cars were neatly lined up outside the courtroom, and he was immediately taken away.
Yeah, security again super tight regarding this former U.S. president. I mean, such an unprecedented event today that took place, and we'll definitely hear more as the evening unfolds. We'll hear from both him and DA Alvin Bragg, and just expect in the coming months a lot of voices.
All right, Tina, what exactly is the time possibly that we can expect Donald Trump to make that statement in Florida?
It has not been announced yet. I would anticipate, a couple of hours after he lands in Florida. Again, none of what happens today prevents Donald Trump from continuing to run for re-election, continuing to run for the 2024 presidential campaign. And so really what will be interesting to see is will the events of today bolster support for him, or will it be his downfall? That remains to be seen, but he's definitely going to be speaking up and using it as an opportunity to connect with voters.
All right. In fact, Tina, let me quickly read out this tweet that has been put out by Alvin Bragg. We just announced 34-count felony indictment of former President Donald J. Trump, is what it says. This is what has been put out by Alvin Bragg. Manhattan is home to the country's most significant business market. We cannot allow New York businesses to manipulate their records to cover up criminal conduct. As this office has done time and again, we today uphold our solemn responsibility to ensure everyone stands equal before the law. That really, Tina, would you say it has been a point of discussion as to how the judiciary deals with this case?
Yeah, they plan to treat it as any other business fraud case, and you're talking about somebody who, before he was president, really fashioned himself as a business and real estate mogul in New York City, presumably having to comply by the same rules and regulations that any business person does, and so this is the same situation. He will be following the same standard procedures.
All right, Tina May, thanks for joining us with all those details from outside the Manhattan